In its first full quarter of operations, the most talked about new structure in the world reported a staggering operating loss of nearly $100 million. For any other business, a start like that would be a catastrophe. But this structure, the Sphere, is a $2.3 billion venture, a building that costs more to build than the city's own NFL stadium. After digging through the financial reports for months, I discovered a harsh truth hidden behind the mesmerizing images you see online. If you ever looked up at that glowing orb and had a gut feeling that something's not quite right, you're not imagining things. You're onto something. For as long as most of us can remember, the Las Vegas skyline was a familiar tapestry, defined by its icons, the glittering pyramid, the half-scale Eiffel Tower, and the dance of the Bellagio fountains. And then, in 2023, that tapestry was torn. A jet-black orb, standing over 360 feet tall, simply appeared in the desert, like an alien artifact that had landed in silence. But as night falls, it awakens, transforming into a giant, unblinking eye. The surface of Mars, a swirling vortex of light powered by 1.2 million LEDs. These images don't tell the story of that brutal financial reality. So, how did one man's boundless ambition lead to a multi-billion-dollar gamble, where it seems only one person was ever guaranteed to win? This story is bigger than a building, because as I peel back the layers of the financial statements, I realize this isn't about winning or losing. It's about who gets to win and who has to pay the price. And the answer will change how you see not just this building, but the entire city around it. Stick with me to the end to find out. The story of the Sphere begins with its creator, James L. Dolan. If you follow the NBA, that name is probably familiar, along with the frustration that often comes with it. But Dolan's story is bigger than basketball. He's the heir to a media empire founded by his father, a cable television pioneer who created HBO. James took the helm of the Madison Square Garden Company, overseeing a portfolio of American icons, Madison Square Garden itself, Radio City Music Hall, and two of New York's most beloved sports teams, the Rangers and the Knicks. As a public figure, he's no stranger to both extreme wealth and scathing criticism. His tenure as the owner of the Knicks has been marked by public feuds and a long-running championship drought. To many, he's the textbook example of a meddling owner. He's also a passionate musician, fronting his own blues rock band, a fact his critics often use to paint him as an unserious billionaire. But it was that creative side, the very thing he was mocked for, that may have been the key to the Sphere. The idea reportedly began with a simple sketch on a notepad, a circle with a stick figure inside, drawn by Dolan himself. He saw a concert industry that hadn't changed in 50 years and wanted to break the model. He aimed to create what he called virtual reality without the glasses. The project quickly grew from a business plan into a personal crusade. As costs ballooned and the pandemic shut down the world, any other company would have pulled the plug. But Dolan, insulated from the usual pressures of shareholders, could afford to bankroll the dream himself. He wasn't just building a new venue. He was inventing an entirely new artistic medium. But turning that sketch into a $2.3 billion reality would require a technological wish list that bordered on science fiction. Every grand project starts with a blueprint. For the Sphere, that blueprint contained a set of engineering demands so extreme they sounded impossible. The vision was simple. Create a space where the technology is so advanced it disappears, leaving only pure experience. It all started with the screen. Dolan's demand was that the entire interior be the screen, a single, seamless, all-encompassing canvas. The result is an engineering marvel. At 160,000 square feet, it boasts a staggering 16K by 16K resolution. For comparison, your 4K TV has about 8 million pixels. The Sphere screen has hundreds of millions, creating an image with almost unbelievable clarity. But a revolutionary screen is useless if the sound is just a mess of echoes in a giant dome. In a normal arena, speakers blast sound from one end. The Sphere team, working with a company called Holoplot, threw that model out entirely. They pioneered a beamforming audio system. Hidden behind the LED screen are 167,000 individually amplified speaker drivers that can steer sound as precisely as a laser beam. The system can deliver pristine, identical audio to every single one of the nearly 18,000 seats. But the real breakthrough? It can send different audio feeds to different sections at the same time. For example, broadcasting a Spanish-language track to one side of the venue and an English one to the other simultaneously. The immersion doesn't stop there. 10,000 of the seats are equipped with haptic technology, integrating subwoofers to create powerful, synchronized vibrations. The building can also generate wind, temperature changes, and even scents. And finally, there's the exterior. The Exosphere, the largest LED screen on the planet, is made of 1.2 million pucks, each containing 48 individual LEDs. It instantly became an icon in its own right. This was the blueprint for a new form of storytelling, a plan that, by any rational standard, looked insane. While the blueprint promised digital perfection, the reality of building it became a 5-year battle against physics, economics, and a global pandemic. The journey from a patch of desert dirt to a glowing orb reveals a story of engineering ingenuity and a budget that exploded beyond all control. Construction broke ground in 2018 with an initial budget of $1.2 billion and a planned 2021 opening. To erect the dome, the 4th largest crane in the world was shipped piece by piece from Belgium and assembled on site. The key moment was the impossibly delicate lift of the 170-ton compression ring, the keystone that would support the entire 13,000-ton steel roof. But just as the project entered its most complex phase, COVID-19 shut down Las Vegas. Construction ground to a halt. When work finally resumed, the project faced a new, more expensive world. Labor costs had soared. The price of steel, concrete, and the project's complex electronics had all skyrocketed. That $1.2 billion budget became a distant memory. The cost crept to $1.7 billion, then $1.9 billion, and finally settled at an unbelievable $2.3 billion. The project had become one of the most expensive entertainment venues in Las Vegas history, dwarfing even the $1.9 billion Allegiant Stadium. The pressure was immense. As the final LED panels were clicked into place, an even bigger question loomed. The orb was built, a monument to one man's defiant vision. But at such a colossal price, could this beautiful, crazy thing actually make money? With the last LED puck switched on, the sphere was real. But a beautiful reality is one thing. A profitable one is another story entirely. The question wasn't just, is the sphere winning? But the sphere is winning. So who is losing? The monetization strategy began by positioning the sphere as a premium, exclusive experience. Ticket prices for in-house productions like Postcard from Earth often start in the $100 to $150 range, but can easily climb over $300, with VIP tickets for some shows topping $400. One visitor from Canada, who had saved for a year for a family trip to Vegas, shared his story on a travel forum. The kids saw the orb on TikTok, and it was the one thing they wanted to do, he wrote. When I saw the prices, my heart just sank. It was over $700 for our family of 4. We had to choose: see the sphere and eat ramen noodles in our hotel room for the rest of the trip, or skip the one thing we came here to see. His story isn't unique. The price point instantly excludes a huge segment of tourists and locals, turning a public marvel into a playground for those who can afford it. The wild success of U2's Residency, which grossed over $244 million, and long-term runs by bands like Phish and Dead & Company, proved the sphere could be a gold mine. But it's a gold mine built on exclusivity. And then there's the Exosphere. With a reported price tag of $450,000 for a single day of advertising, it has become a massive revenue generator, contributing significantly to the bottom line for the sphere and its major shareholders like James Dolan. To be sure, the financial story has turned a corner. After a shocking $98.4 million operating loss in its first quarter, recent reports show earnings have swung into the positive, signaling the business model might just be working. But at what cost? A bartender with 20 years of experience on the Strip put it this way, speaking anonymously: Vegas is changing. We used to see families in minivans, couples on a budget for their 25th anniversary. Now it's all premium. Resort fees are insane. Drink prices are through the roof. The sphere is the tip of the iceberg. It's spectacular, but it's also a reminder that Vegas isn't for the regular guy anymore. His words reflect a larger truth. While the Sphere celebrates its profits, the cost of an average trip to Vegas is rising, with hidden fees and escalating prices on everything from coffee to parking. Dolan's victory doesn't disprove this point. It is a point. The system seems designed for the wealthy to win, while the middle class pays the price. But is this exclusivity the whole story? Or is this just the cost of true innovation? This brings us to the core question. James Dolan's vision is a reality, but it came at a price, and it wasn't paid by him alone. As construction costs blew up to $2.3 billion, the pressure to recoup that colossal investment was passed down the line. The first person to pay the price is the tourist. To guarantee profits, ticket prices are pushed to a level that leaves many families on the outside looking in. An experience marketed as a wonder for all becomes an exclusive, pay-to-play club. But the cost isn't just in the ticket price. The Sphere is accelerating a worrying shift in Las Vegas. It's the ultimate symbol of the city's premiumization, a trend that's turning Vegas from an accessible middle-class playground into a luxury destination for the elite. The second price is paid by the very identity of Las Vegas, which once prided itself on providing glamour for the masses. Finally, there's a hidden price paid by the rest of the local economy, the nightclub effect, where visitors funnel a huge portion of their budget into a single ultra-expensive event, means there's less money left over for restaurants, smaller shows, and other local businesses. Dolan's vision created a monument, but also created financial gravity, that sucks the energy out of the ecosystem around it. Dolan built his orb. He won. But that win is counted in dollars taken from the pockets of regular people. Every ticket, every resort fee, every local dinner skip, because the budget was already blown. It's not a side effect. It's the business model.